Welcome to MTG Friends. I'm Ryan, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about making a more than passable proxy card for your commander deck, standard deck, whatever format deck, where you just need a proxy that's more than passable and it looks good, especially when you sleeve it and you have it in your deck. So for whatever reason, either you don't want to be using your more expensive cards, or you're playing casually and you just need a proxy card because you don't have it. Whatever the reason, the scope of this particular episode is to just show you the easiest and most efficient way to make one that looks good. All right, so we are going to use GIMP for the editor for a couple reasons. One, it's very easy to use. Two, it's free to use. And three, I use it. And it also works on a PC and a Mac, basically the same. So we are going to be doing it on a Mac, and the next thing you'll need is, once you have it downloaded and opened, which will look like this, there is a template that you can use that we will have down in the description. The main purpose of the template is for the size. Now the size is 768 by 1070. So if you're using a different editor, just make that size, and that's for a one-off single card printing. This leaves you a little bit of bleed on the edges so that when you cut it with scissors, that you can do the rounded edges and everything, and it's still going to look good. It doesn't have to be perfect. So next, we want to find the actual card you want to create the proxy with. So for this example, we're not going to use the Blightsteel. We're going to use Swords to Plowshares. And I always like going with the older ones. So why don't we go with, let's go with this one. This one? Yeah. Why not? Do. And what version? How about this version? All right. So once we have that, we're going to want to save the image. Save it to wherever you deem appropriate. Swords example. And then we're going to go ahead and save that actual picture. You can do it from Scryfall, MTG Goldfish, others, whatever. So then we're going to bring up our GIMP editor, or whatever editor you're using. We're going to go find that copy real quick, which I put in my MTG Friends folder. There it is. Now we're going to actually drag and drop this because it's probably not the same size as our template. And there it is. All right, and it's not. So we'll go ahead and just readjust it to that 768 and by 1070. There it is. All right, so next thing we want to do is take the pencil and use black to get those edges so that they are not white. And the last thing we want to do is just make sure that the black matches. So just hit that real quick. Now, finally, we go ahead and print this to your printer. Obviously, you're going to want to use a colored printer, or else it's definitely not going to look right. It'll be black and white instead. But if you don't have a color printer and you don't care if it's black and white, by all means. But let's just assume you're doing it in black and white. And for the next segment, we're going to go ahead and show the card and the sleeving and show you how good this can actually look. So stay tuned. All right, so we're assuming that you know how to use scissors. There's just a regular piece of paper, not even high quality stock. I just use cheapo paper. That's all it is. But I used a decent colored printer, just an inkjet, so nothing special there either. So what you want to do, take a land, put it behind it. That way it just has a little bit of weight. I didn't even bother cutting the edges. So you just put it, I mean, you can. And then what I often do is I'll use a perfect sleeve, sleeve it with the land. Do. Please stand by. Yeah. Scooby-Doo. All right. And then you might have to finagle it in there because it's just a flimsy piece of paper. So there you go. Then you put on your colored sleeve. There we go. And that's it. Looks pretty good, huh? Here's another example of a proxy card. So, I mean, more than passable. So, here's some real ones. Can you really tell the difference unless you unsleeve it and really take a look? I say no. I say no. So, there you go. Those are the steps to make a more than passable proxy. Plus, it looks good. You see the card and it's not confusing. You know, often sometimes people will do proxies where it's just a land that they've scribbled on what it is. So, there you go. That's how to do a proxy. If you have any questions, just leave some comments. Be happy to answer them. Be a friend of the gathering. Hit the like button. Smash that subscribe. See you at the next episode.